Each year, Microsoft Research hosts hundreds of influential speakers from around the world, including leading scientists, renowned experts in technology, book authors, and leading academics, and makes videos of these lectures freely available.
All right, so I sent people out to purchase gifts. Lily is apparently evaluating their quality now. And we had some people who took the approach of getting a lovely item that any of us might like to receive. And then there were some other approaches that I'm not sure I completely understand. Right. So here's what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to make Lily sit down. And I am going to put the microphone down right by all these gifts. And people can come up. I am not going to call on you. You're going to have to push or shove people out of the way if necessary. You can pick one or a combination of things and identify who it is you want to give it to and why it is you want to give that gift to them. Give the gift and then put the microphone back down and let somebody else take a turn at it. And I am now going to get out of the way.
So my understanding is that these are gifts and thanks. Is that right? Okay, so let's see if I get this right. But I wanted to thank Millicent because I have been extremely skeptical about language about the peer economy. I have often approached this and sort of thought that this is basically a lot of arm waving to cover a very venture capital rich space. But I was persuaded that there actually is some common ground between movements I really care about, like the labor movement and the housing movement, and this movement. And so to thank you for persuading me of this, I wanted to give you a thick stack of Benjamins in the hope that you can bring them to work. It's wonderful to meet you. Thanks for being here with us.
I think that none of us could ever imagine how much work it took to put all this together, and for her unbelievable support and hard work, I think we need to give her some support. So this is the Helping Hands bra that we want to give to Liz for your unending support.
I have something. I would like to thank Steve because, firstly, he really reminded us that being friendly was important. And the quote that I think I'm going to put at the bottom of my signature is, I was able to reverse a national trend just by being friendly. And I think that really is what this whole group is about as well. Not being competitive, but being friendly. And for you, I think...
So many amazing things. What is that?
A whole cup with its contents.
Yeah, it's a whole geek cup. Give this one.
So I want to thank someone for something that didn't happen today. When I was 15 years old, I didn't want to study chemistry. I was home educated. I said to my mom, I'm not going to study chemistry. I want to do more computing. She hauled me into the local university's computer science department and got their chair to say, if you care about being a good programmer, you should study other topics because computing teaches us about the rest of the world and it lets us explore the rest of the world. And then he handed me a copy of Stephen Levy's Hackers. And I want to thank you for that.
thank you goes to Clive for who's talking in the back of the room now. Oh, maybe I need the mic. That would be good. Okay. So my thank you goes to Clive for performing last night, and I really love these moments when people who I value tremendously as professionals in one field show that they can be really super awesome in other creative pursuits that are their side hustles. So I thought it was great, and thank you for doing that, Clive.
So I want to thank Andres for helping me identify my community after last night. Apparently, I also am a ASMR. I put Alan Watson Thich Nhat Hanh on every night to make me fall asleep, where I can barely hear them. Not because I get off on it, but it's to relax. So I know there's one of the presents. Yeah, no Elmo. I think this one's going to be more appropriate, is a journal called My Dysfunctions, a journal for chronicling my immeasurably fascinating dysfunctions, neuroses, and emotions. Does everyone know what's on here, or should they come and look, or should I hold them up?
Well, the best way to do it is to come up to the table.
They should all just come here and look.
Okay.
Okay, so I wanted to thank Sylvia, both for today. She was an awesome co-presenter because I'm currently in a headspace where I'm only thinking about the details of my project, and I really needed her to make sense out of the stuff that I'm doing in the scene that I'm participating in. But actually, I also really want to thank her for something she did much earlier, which was that I think in April last year, we were at this maker carnival in Beijing, and she was like, oh, hey, Amanda, I heard of this program in Shenzhen that might be a really cool thing for you to participate in, and is actually the reason that I applied to Accelerator, and the original reason why there's like any reason to invite me to this in the first place. So, I feel like Sylvia needs this bunny mask.
You know, when we were talking earlier, I was like, I feel we want the bunny mask. I know. You have to try it on. I've tried on. I don't have to talk like
Wow.
So I see something fussy here, and we all know who likes fussy stuff, fussy hats. And this gift is for Dana. Dana, I want to thank her for inviting me to the first version of this symposium, and more broadly for opening a lot of opportunities for me in the past few years since I met her, and being a mentor for the past few years. So thank you, Dana.
I'm just counting from here. There's at least 7 wonderful gifts coming up, and I think there's at least 7 grateful people in this audience. So let's see some gratitude. Unfortunately, you probably do have to make it up here.
Okay. Where did you go? Trisha? So I want to give this to Trisha because this represents in part what Bunny was talking about today. Always looking for new and creative ways that people are playing with in very unexpected corners of this world. And this is what Trisha represents for me. This is what she's always been doing together with me during our tours in China or elsewhere in California. And we were on desperate search today to find this skull that Bunny was holding up in the shape of a Shanzhai phone. And Trisha was actually the first one who also introduced me to Shanzhai phones before I began to think about them as a form of innovation in China. And I want to thank her for that.
So I'll be doing this guy here. So I was very excited. This is my first time coming to this symposium. I want to thank everyone for the invitation. But I was expecting this would be very much centered around social computing, and as I conceive of myself as that. But a lot of our conversations here around meals and so on were very much not about sort of computing or computing systems or things like that. But we had some very sort of engaging talks around food. And it was surprising and sort of exciting for me to sort of be able to break out of my sort of my closeted identity as like a social historian and be able to engage in some of these conversations around other things in the society around us that are important. And I especially like Brian, the other Brian with the beards, talk about the chickens and the social history of recipes and things like that. And so it was very illuminating to me that you were able to sort of bridge these sorts of different things and provided sort of very convincing things. So I want you can have this chicken.
So I went and, I went and dragged George Agudao out of his office because I want to give a gift to him. I think very few people know how much work George does to make this happen. Work before we get here, work while we're here, and every time somebody says to me, you did such an amazing job of organizing it, it's almost always because of something wonderful that George or the tech people or the MSR admins have done, and I want them to know how much they're appreciated.
Thank you.
There's somebody I want to thank who already got a gift, and then somebody else. Andreas for inviting me. When I first heard about the symposium, like other people have said, I was like, I don't know anything about computers. This is going to be weird. And this community has been incredibly warm and inviting and open and really inspiring. But my first friend that I made when I came here was actually Lizzie, who, with her warmth and just welcoming and saying, hey, it's okay, I did it and it was great. And this is a really wonderful community, really helped inspire me to open myself up more. So the whole community has really helped me take a good drink of water and feel refreshed, but it was really nice to meet you, so thanks.
So I'd like to thank Ethan for something he's done 2 years ago when I met him. And I think he's introduced me to the civic space and to thinking about impact beyond the computer science and the tools that I was thinking about. And he's been an inspiration for me, and I wanted to thank you for that.
I once met, in a very random way, a guy from Bosnia, and he said, I have a Mexican friend called David Sasaki. And then I met another Argentinian guy in a random bar in Buenos Aires, and he said, I have a Mexican friend called David Sasaki. And the same thing has happened in Chile, in Colombia, and everywhere I go. So to the best and most famous Mexican.
I would say at least 4 more gifts, including a totally awesome set of butterfly wings. So if there's someone in this room who needs a set of butterfly wings, this is your opportunity to come up and give butterfly wings to someone.
So last year, I was here, and I try to make it every year here because this is a fantastic conference, and Liz and Lily and everyone, Dane, everyone who does it, and George hosting us does a terrific job. We can't thank him enough. I overheard last year, Ethan talking, and he was talking about something, expounding, and he just said, well, algorithms really are a kind of politics. And that actually squared with something that I was thinking was going to write, and I included, I just thinking excited and things like that. And it's just one example of all the fantastic things you hear and connect with here. And Ethan, my buddy and Berkshire friend, you get some butterfly wings.
I will have you know, there's a 4-year-old that has had his eye on these butterfly wings. He's not here in the room, but I know that he wants them.
Awesome. And there's still some left.
Sorry, I'm plotting while I look for the appropriate gift. Well, anyway, I'll keep it simple. I think I'm going to give one gift to one person, but there's actually a larger group of people that this gift could apply to, some of whom are in this room. And that is that there are a lot of you, in particular among the faces I can see now, I can think of Ethan and Elizabeth and Dana and Brian and Corinne, who as a young academic, and Gina as well, actually, now I see your face. As a young academic, it's kind of a fun field because you often you meet people first through their ideas, and only later on do you get to know them face to face and in person, and to develop relationships with them. And it's this wonderful thing where, as academics, you get to sort of meet your heroes, or the people who have inspired you with their thinking and given you tools to sort of understand the world in a deeper way. Another person who's been here during this meeting who's part of that group for me is Clay, but he's gone. He's on a plane somewhere probably. And so the story that encapsulates this, and the person I'll give the gift to, is it was the first thing that somebody said to me when I got here, which was I walked out of a room and somebody got off the elevator and they said, "Finally!" And I had to, hello, who are you? And it was Corinne actually, and this is in part because we've been sort of having a conversation through our research for about 5 years now, or it started off with me reading some of her work and citing it. And it's just really wonderful to be able to make those conversations, take them off of pages and bring them into real life. And so thank you, Corinne, for continuing that process as part of this event. So instead of paying you in the usual academic currency of citations, I will also give you a fat stack of Benjamins for your,
No, unless you want to arm wrestle for them, which I'm up for. I lost my Yochai the other day arm wrestling.
I
didn't have my elbow down. He was on the table. I was up there.
You and Yochai are both stronger and larger men than I. Why is one of the gifts, "Hello, my name is douchebag"? Yeah. I'm not going to give that gift. I'm actually going to give a gift to someone who might not know that I know who that person is, but in 2009, I was in Zagreb, Croatia, which is a really cool city. I didn't know it was a cool city. And I was there for an event, but then there was a separate set of talks. And rarely do I go to a separate set of talks because my life is kind of attending conferences and talks, and I listen to dozens, maybe hundreds of them a year. And maybe 5% of those talks kind of stay with me and make me think about things. This talk has stayed with me ever since. It was kind of a journey towards self-actualization. There was a level of personal transparency in the talk that just really made me think about my life and where I'm going and why I am a certain type of way. And it was Mako's talk in Zagreb. I was there in the audience. I didn't ask any questions or anything like that. I think it was a Revealing Errors talk. It was a very, very personal talk. But it was really inspirational to me, so thank you.
I was a resident here in 2010, 4 years ago, when the Social Computing Symposium was happening. So I kind of peeked into all the sessions, one of the little perks, but I wasn't really a part of it. So it feels really, really nice to be here as part of the symposium. It's a wonderful feeling. So I want to really thank Amanda for inviting me without even knowing that I went to ITP and that I was a resident. But also, okay, well, that works. But also, for like being a part of something incredible, like this like soft diplomacy that's happening through something like Accelerator. It's been a pleasure just watching like all these projects come through in such like wonderful, like they all come through in like this like wonderful way of just saying, yeah, we make stuff in China, it's all local anywhere. So thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, and it's a wallet that says, happy girls are the prettiest.
Us with our Kickstarter back when we didn't know what we were doing.
Oh yes, that's right. There's $2.25 inside.
What?
There's a gift card.
For $2.25. That's so exciting.
I very nearly didn't bother giving anyone anything because there were too many people that I'm grateful to in here, and it kind of felt like I was excluding all the others. Then Anne told me to stop being an idiot, or words to that effect. So I think someone's going to get a stack of cash. I find events like this that part of it is about what I get from it is defining my tribe and finding people who I go, I want to be like you. I was told a few people about this. I have a column in TweetDeck that's just headed, it's a list, and it's just headed when I grow up. And it's the people that I want to be like. And so I come to these things and I hear people say things and use words in ways that I go, I want to use words like that. I want to say things like that. And so these could easily have gone, I mean, Kate's talk did that, and all of Gina's interventions did that, and Anne has a way of summing up things at the end of almost every session. We had a chat, sat there, and it would kind of like, okay, she's made sense of it. But there were 5 minutes at the beginning of the first breakout session when Evan just summarized where that talk was going, and I sat there open-mouthed and was like, has anyone got a recording of that? Because I want to learn that word for word. So for words that help me to understand the world, here we go.
There is a lovely pink geek cup. There is hello, my name is Douchebag, and there are the Eat Shit mints. I would actually like to point out that both of these are made by a fine company called Blue Q, headquartered in my hometown of Pittsfield, Massachusetts. There are not a lot of companies headquartered in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. These are lovely gifts that you can give to your friends, particularly if you want them to be pissed off at you. So there are 3 left.
going to leave these up here, and we will figure out where they go later. But I think we are running out of energy for the day, and people need some recharging time between now and dinner. So I want to say, as usual, thank you to Lily, because this wouldn't happen if it weren't for Lily. And to the tech guys, both Rob from NYU, who made sure that all of our stuff worked, and our guys from MSR, who have been recording all of this so that it can be shared after the event. It's a lot of work to keep track of all of our technology and all of our moving around, and so thank you to all of them for all of the work that they did. Thank you to all of the people who helped to organize sessions, because, as wonderful as you all are, you're really hard to manage, all of you. And the only way this happens is by my having this group of people who work to make it all come together. Somebody said to me on the first night, how nice it was that every year we bring this tribe together. And I said, that's actually not what we're doing. Because you remember when we first got here and I said, how many of you were here for the first time? And about half the hands went up. Hey, this is not bringing the tribe together that already exists. This is expanding the tribe. This is finding new members and bringing them in and helping people discover connections. So I hope that everybody here had a chance to make a connection with somebody they didn't know was part of their tribe while they were here. And I am delighted that you are all a part of this. This is the hardest and the most rewarding thing that I do every year. And I am so grateful for all of you. I can't give you all a gift other than to say thank you. And I am looking forward to seeing many of you at dinner at 7. One other thing, many of you have not yet picked up your fleece from the desk. It would be lovely if you did that so that the admins don't have to carry them all back with them. So if you didn't get yours, if you could pick it up, that would be great. And I will see a lot of you at dinner, and thank you so much.
Each year, Microsoft Research hosts hundreds of influential speakers from around the world, including leading scientists, renowned experts in technology, book authors, and leading academics, and makes videos of these lectures freely available.